There's more janky tier 2 decks on the way as I test the remaining cards in the Up and Over data pack. Except that this isn't a janky deck and it certainly isn't a tier 2 deck. This is a Blue Sun tag and back deck. The infamous one that is pretty hard to beat at this point. I'm using 2 copies of Seesaws because I want reliability in getting my tagging mechanism going. 3 Toe Booths for maximum tags and 2 Lotus Fields because Lotus Fields are Anarch's worst nightmare. I open into 4 ice and an Oversight AI, and so that's definitely go time for me. Especially since one of those 4 ice is a Curtain Wall, so that's instant gain of 13 credits on turn 2. Can't beat that. And I even draw into a restructure, so that's all the better. Now I'm playing against Quetzal, and this is a huge problem. Quetzal poses this problem that no other runner would, and that is that she can easily get by Curtain Wall by installing E3 feedback implants on the first turn, and then running on her second turn to to pay through the Curtain Wall and instantly trash it. Actually, this is very bad, and it's something that I need to avoid at all costs. This is technically something that all Anarchs can do as well with David, so that is something to keep in mind. Because of this, I'm forced to install the Caduceus on top of the Curtain Wall. So if she chooses to run with E3 feedback implants, she's not going to like what she sees. In fact, she will probably pay me my 3 credits back. So, what does he do? He starts drawing up with Inject. He shows me a Sure Gamble and 3 very terrifying cards, Joshua B, Account Siphon, and Data Leak Reversal. Well, he drew his entire combo in 1 Inject. That's so powerful. But on the other hand, I'm smiling with glee because I'm playing tag and back. If he goes tag me, he's in for a world of hurt. So I draw into a hedge fund to couple with my restructure. Can't get any better than this. So I just keep drawing up and voila, another restructure. My money is flowing in like no tomorrow. This is absolutely fantastic. Alright, game is on. Good luck getting through my servers. Now you notice that I bounced the Curtain Wall back and installed the Toe Booth instead of the Curtain Wall. This is Quetzal after all. I do not want to install these barriers because they are liabilities. They cost a lot to res and they won't keep her out. In fact, she can get through them very cheaply once E3 feedback implants hit the table. So I need to be very aware of that. So now I keep drawing cards and I see my first agenda, Geothermal Fracking. I don't need it. I'm bleedy rich at this point. You can put it that way. So I just throw the Hadrians on the remote in case, because I plan to install the Root the next turn. The Root is an asset that I can afford to install behind a barrier without worrying about E3 feedback implants. Now, he runs through R&D and hits the Caduceus. I pumped Caduceus Trace by 2 because I don't want him to get easy access. For him, paying 2 credits to see 1 card off the top of R&D is a bad notion for me. I do not want him to see agendas. And since I've only drawn into 1 agenda, the chances of him seeing another one is very high. Definitely do not want him to get through R&D. If he gets through, I'm making sure he pays a lot for it. And I still net 1 anyway because of the Caduceus Trace. The first trace landed. Alright, so it's my turn. I install the Root and I additionally protect HQ. Why? Because he's seen my HQ Ice, it's a Toe Booth, and he has a Knight installed. So his next turn can very well be hopping the Knight over and then account siphoning me. That is completely undesirable. So, this is exactly what I do to double up the defenses on HQ, and then, in the end, I actually managed to bait him into running the remote, which is very great because the Knight, he's wasting a click to bounce the Knight, and he's only going to see the Root, which he doesn't want to trash. He only has 6 credits at this point. By the way, he activated Joshua B this turn, so he has 5 clicks. His second click is hopping Knight over to Toe Booth, which is a very bad idea because he cannot get into HQ. I'm not sure what he's thinking here. All I needed to do was to bounce Toe Booth back to hand, and his Knight disappears. So this is reflecting his lack of experience in playing against Blue Sun. You do not hop your Knight onto res pieces of ice against Blue Sun without getting some sort of benefit. If he had made an account siphon run, that would have been fine, except that he wouldn't have been able to get in because I unres ice on HQ, but he definitely shouldn't have prepared the knight on toll booth there. Big mistake. Anyway, even if he didn't hop the knight, I would have erased it anyway by installing Overrated on the remote. So knights are Kai'Sa in general are just very, very bad to have against Blue Sun. They are extremely liable to getting trashed. Alright, so he continues drawing up. He gets lots of money in the show gambles and a deep red for his Kai'Sa. He's running a lot of Kaisas, you can see, because he's running deep red. So I think I'm gonna have a very good time this game. No reason I should be losing, huh? Well, I need to start pumping out agendas too. And the root is currently taking out my remote server, which is not good news. Thankfully, I have another toll booth in my hand. Toll booth is a great way to set up a scoring remote because he is dirt poor at this point. He discards all his money cards, his account siphon, his same old thing, and a vamp because obviously you cannot vamp Blue Sun down. That is absolutely useless. So I get the toll booth up, and the root helps me install toll booth for free, which is always great. So I'm going to use this as my scoring remote. When I feel like scoring, the root will bounce back to my hand, and I'll start scoring agendas. Now's the time. So he clicked for 4 credits, so he's very slow right now. I'm going to install and advance my Atlas. If he even dares to challenge this remote, guess what? He will have to sacrifice his ability to play show gambles. I know he has 2 show gambles in his hand, and he plays them right now. Of course, he doesn't contest my remote. Instead, he sets up, so I score my Atlas. Free agenda for me. Very importantly, it comes with 2 Atlas counters. I have 1 Scorched Earth in hand, so I can fetch my entire combo. Problem is, he already has a plus creed up. So, it's time to get this Taurus going. Time to install it over a server, force him to trash his plus creed. Then I can exploit his vulnerability. So, here I decide to continue on with the Atlas. I install it naked, and I don't install it naked. The Atlas, I'm not planning to advance it anymore, over advance it, because 2 tokens is more than enough. The root goes there to help me rest my ice. Now he installs an Overmind and runs. Nope, he doesn't run. He doesn't make a normal round. Obviously, he does an account siphon. That's a smart thing to do, because he has Overmind tokens and he wants the credit swing so that he can get into my remote. So I have 20 credits. He's not scared of that at all. Well, he should be, because as long as I rest a big piece of ice, he won't be able to get through. And sure enough, I show the root, and I rest Hadrian's Wall. It'll cost him 7 credits to get through Hadrian's Wall. Definitely cannot afford that. He's forced to bounce off. So, too bad for him. And then, what does he do? His account siphon failed, so he did fail to get any money. But then he ran my remote, and here I realized I made a huge mistake. By raising the root, I left myself with insufficient money to raise the toll booth to defend my Atlas. This was the biggest mistake I made this game. I should have calculated, I should have made sure that I had enough money to protect both HQ and my remote. By raising the root, I prevented that, and that was a huge, huge loss. A swing of 4 agenda points. That Atlas was definitely mine. And the worst thing is, because I raised the root, I now don't have enough credits to see Scotch him. Well, it wouldn't make a difference because he has plus creed out and 4 cards. But still, a very huge mistake on my part that leaves me with very few credits left. So I'm forced to tilt out a hostile takeover to score. I needed a credit injection to continue posing threats to him, so that I can rest my toll booth, so that I can threaten C double Scotched. Okay, suddenly things are not looking good for me at all. Even though he's going to have a hard time getting through my central servers, the very fact that I lost that Atlas meant it was a great deal, because he's only going to be on the rise up from now on. With a 6 counter over mine, he can get through a lot of my servers if he wants to. So it's no longer safe to score agendas in the remote. I'll need to find another way to victory, and tag him back, it's not that easy. As you know, he has plus feet out, so I need to bait him into running my Taurus, which I still haven't installed. Meanwhile, he doesn't challenge my root, so I'm getting lots of free credits. I got a free advancement token on that geothermal fracking. I attempted to take advantage of this scoring window because he only has 3 credits. He won't be able to get through my Toll Wolf. He installs an E3 feedback implants. So this is worse. This renders all my barriers useless. In particular, the Hadrian's Wall on my HQ. Ooh. So I could rest the guard, but that's expensive. I'm not going to do that. I'll let him run for 0 credits because he has bad publicity, because I scored a hostile takeover. He gets to access my hand. I hope he doesn't hit the agendas. Or at least hit the hostile takeover. But no, he just had to hit the cleaners to go on match point. This is awful. This is really, really awful. This really shouldn't be happening. Yeah, suddenly I'm losing all control of this game. This game is slipping from my hands, and he's about to win. No, this is not good at all. The E3 feedback implants really change everything. Quetzal is a beast against this deck if I don't double stack barriers. And it's pretty hard to double stack barriers when they're also expensive to rest. So I'm in a world of hurt right now. I need to quickly change up my plans. But I can't. I'm on track to score this agenda, and I need to score it now before he does any more damage to me. One account siphon could render me completely useless. Yes, take note that he can easily account siphon me now. The only solace is that he has been continuously trashing his same old things and account siphons to his heap because he thought that he couldn't get into HQ. But now HQ is actually very porous. It only cost him 3 credits to get in. Guard plus Hadrian's combined. Of course, he doesn't know that on top of HQ is a lowly guard. But I need to keep it there to keep the threat there. And of course, he hits the 1 in 5 agenda, the hostile takeover. This is infuriating. I was supposed to score that next turn. So, if the game wasn't hard enough, it sure is becoming almost impossible to win now. He still has 6 Overmind tokens, and he's looking to spend them right now as he runs through R&D. I can't stop him. But at least he's giving me free credits. Hopefully he doesn't top deck another agenda. Of course he doesn't, because I have 26 cards in my R&D and only 3 agendas left. An Eden Fragment, an Atlas, and 2 Geothermal Frackings. So that's 4 agendas left in a deck of 26. If he hit the agenda there, well, he just won out of luck. Nothing more I can say. Alright, so he continues receiving credits. Because he's dirt poor, that's the only thing that's keeping me in this game. The very fact that he is completely broke. But I still can't win, because he has plus crit out, and that's very annoying. So I finally install my Taurus on R&D. If he runs R&D, he's screwed. R&D is definitely the most porous server right now. Overmind can get through it pretty cheaply. So I need to ice it up with Taurus so that I will trash his plus crit, or at least force him to use 5 credits per run, which is pretty nasty. I know he has a medium in there somewhere, and I wouldn't like to get hit by it. Yep, there's the medium. Along with a Retriever run, E3 feedback implants, and Overmind. Well, he really is playing E3 Retriever run. Very similar to my Reina Roja deck. Completely different breakers, completely different influence expenditure. He's playing a Account Siphon and I'm not, but the same concept, inject into E3 feedback Retriever run is pretty strong. Alright, so back to this game. I have 2 Scorched Earths. I can fetch the Sea Source anytime, but it's useless because he has plus crit out. I'm waiting for him to run on R&D, so he can hit the plus crit and lose his hardware. And yes, I'm thinking to myself, once he gets enough money, I cannot stop him from winning this game. Overmind gets through practically all my ice easily, and the ice that's hard to get through with Overmind, which are Hadrian's Wall and Curtain's Wall, Hadrian's Wall and Curtain Wall, E3 feedback implant takes care of that very easily. So that's a huge problem. So now I bait him into running the remote by installing a Jackson and another piece of ice. This definitely looks like the 3rd Atlas. Yes, I'm trying to bluff it as the 3rd Atlas and force him to run, because I'm also on 5 points. I'm on match point. If he doesn't challenge this, he might lose the game. Hopefully, I can get him to make a futile run on this server and make him waste his resources, because he is actually in a pretty good standing. You must consider that he has 2 bad pub thanks to my careless plays, I already used one geothermal fracking token. So he essentially has 7 credits to run with right now, and 4 clicks to use them. So far I haven't seen any stim hack from him in his heat or through his injects, so at least I don't really have to worry about that. And even if I had to, I'm testing the waters right now, baiting his stim hack out if he even has one copy of it. Stim hack is actually pretty good in his deck. If you're using Overmind, it's pretty credit intensive when you're breaking high strength ice. Stim hack can help you elevate some of that. So let's see what his plan is to get through this remote server. Or will he even contest it? He might think it's a threat or a random asset. He takes a couple of credits and installs a knight on the outermost piece of ice. Wow, he's really going for it. Alright, looks like he's biting the bait. This is good for me. At least he can buy me some time. So now my challenge is to figure out how best to exploit him while he's making this run. Of course, I still cannot seesaw scotch him down, but at least I can force him to use up a lot of his resources. So he makes a normal run on the remote server as his last click. Alright, so I have Caduceus on Toll Booth on Hadron's Wall, I believe. I first rest the Caduceus. This is very important. The Caduceus won't really tax him at all because he can get through cheaply. The whole point of resting the Caduceus is so that I can bounce it back to my hand and trash the Knight. That is the meaning of denying resources. Knight is a resource that allows him to get through my most expensive ice cheaply, and I need to prevent that. So I keep him out of this server, and I managed to bounce the Caduceus back to my hand and nullify his second Knight, which is a win for me. At this point, he's tagged due to John Masnori. I could double scotch him, but it's pointless. I need to ensure the clean kill. So instead, my mandatory draw didn't draw me into any 2-pointer agenda. Jackson does draw me my geothermal fracking, but I cannot afford to install and advance it with only Toll Booth guarding it. Remember that the innermost piece of ice is a barrier that can easily break through, and he might have enough credits to get through, so I'm not going to risk that. So I tutor the Atlas with my last Atlas token, so that on my last click, I can reinstall an ice. And since I drew into Lotus Field, I installed that instead of the Caduceus. Lotus Field is more taxing. It will tax 1 more than Caduceus will on the Overmind, and that could be the difference between winning and losing. So now, to get through my server, he needs to pay 4 credits for the Lotus Field, 8 credits for the Toll Booth. That's 12 credits. I don't think he can get that many in this turn between his credit pool and his bad pub. And indeed, all he can do is click for credits. So it looks like I'm going to win, but no, he retrieval runs and draws a card with John Masnori. He gets a Knight out. He jumps it onto Caduceus. He is going to siege R&D. Uh-oh, someone's in trouble. Well, he's about to top deck an agenda of R&D because I cannot stop him with my outermost piece of ice. It's just a Taurus. Now, how I wish that wasn't a Taurus. Well, on the bright side, at least I can trash his hardware for the sake of trashing them. Unfortunately, I won't be able to keep him out of this server because he has enough bad pub to break the Caduceus. So this bad pub is really coming back to haunt me. There are 3 agendas left in R&D, and he doesn't find it. So I win. Not by Atlas, but because I trash his plus crit, I'm going to win by scorching him down. Payback for the last game, if you watch my Reina Roja versus The World Is Yours. It's the exact reverse ending, and that's the game. Wow. Yes, something is conspicuously missing from this traditional tag and back deck, and that's none other than Snare. I completely forgot to include Snare in this deck, and I'm definitely looking to do that. It is the only way I can have a shot of flatlining the runner should they get their plus crits up, and believe me, everyone is going to start playing plus crits due to the resurgence of Wayland Tag and Back with Blue Sun. So Snare is an awfully useful tool and it must be included. The problem is you cannot sacrifice influence for Tollbooth because Tollbooth is just so good in Blue Sun. Being able to bounce it around various servers and tax the runner for 3 every time they face check eyes is invaluable. I could consider cutting one copy of Tollbooth to make room for the influence to include Snare, but I'll need to find influence from other sources to get more snares up. This is definitely a deck that can be tweaked to become a very strong deck. I probably won't be playing this too often, but it's definitely something worth playing to get a feel of the tempo. I did feel constrained for credits at times, but that's because my ice is always so expensive to res. I need to keep track mentally of my current board state and what ice I can res, what I can't res, because that nearly cost me the game because it lost me my second Atlas, which shouldn't have happened. Thanks for watching and happy net running.